From New York, it's That Kevin Show.
See, I knew it.
Come on, Kev. What's a few classified documents between friends?
I told you all the time. I knew it. I knew he had some too.
Here he is, That Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us. My next guest is someone that has been on my mind a lot recently. She was someone who always was up for a great conversation about politics and activism in New York City. And then a number of years ago, moved from New York to Israel to take on some challenges there and to follow a call that she felt on her life in a very real way. But she was in the States on 9/11. She was in Israel on 7 of October of this year, and it is a real pleasure to welcome her back to my microphone and viewers, but we have not discussed anything in quite some time. Melissa Jane Kronfeld. I know that I'm not supposed to ask how you are because in Israel you're measuring days differently, like are you still alive? But it is a joy to see you. I'm glad to know that you are okay. And thank you for being with us tonight.
Forgive me, I just rocket alert. Okay, not our region. Okay. Thank you so much for having me back. It's so good to see you. I miss you. I miss all of you in New York.
Rocket alert. You literally just took one while we were doing the intro.
I was looking. Yeah, I know it looks like it may have been an intrusion alert, not a rocket alert, but I do have my phone here just in case. If the rockets do go off, I will have to exit stage left.
We're going to get into this hopefully in a little bit if time and the circumstances permit, but life has been upended for you and everybody in Israel. And as I have talked with my Jewish friends here, and there are many that interact with my show each week and many more that I know on a very personal, connected basis, people are feeling very isolated and very afraid. I want to go back to the day for you and maybe the context of what that day. First of all, how did you find yourself in Israel on October 6th and 7th this year?
So briefly, I work, I'm a Temple Mount activist. So for the past few years, a huge part of my work, in addition to my social impact consultancy and my foundation, is working on the Temple Mount. And so basically every single day that Jews are permitted on the Temple Mount, which is 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, I leave my house, my beautiful beachfront apartment in Tel Aviv around 4 or 5 a.m. to go and spend the day marching around the Temple Mount to make sure that we normalize a Jewish presence, remind our Muslim brothers and sisters that this is a Jewish space, and fight for equal rights and access for all people, providing complimentary tours to anybody who wants to come. And although I'm extremely grateful for that work and I love doing that, it's exhausting. It takes an emotional toll. Been arrested, detained. I've been punched in the face by a police officer, apparently for resisting arrest. I don't think it was resisting arrest, but that's a story for another time. And so kind of on October 6th, it's a Friday, so Jews are not permitted on the Mount. And as grateful I am for my work and for all the people who support us and the amazing people I get to meet every day doing that work, sometimes it's nice to not wake up at 3 a.m. to walk my dogs, to leave by 5 to go to the Temple Mount and march around and be yelled at by Arabs and punched in the face by cops. And so on October 6th, I was kind of having that moment where I'm like, oof, I don't have to go to Jerusalem today, and I'm going to stay home. And it was during the holidays, which is obviously a very, I don't get holidays off anymore because everyone wants to be on the Temple Mount during the holidays. So I don't even take holidays off. And so I was feeling enormously grateful to be home, actually. And then on October, I went to bed. I think I stayed up pretty late, but it was mostly because it was Shabbat and I was reading. And then around 7 a.m. on October 7th, I woke up kind of like a little bit dazed because something woke me up. Like it wasn't that I just woke up naturally. And I do admittedly try to sleep in until 8 on Saturdays. So it was 7 and I couldn't kind of figure out what was going on. And I could hear like a noise. And so I got out of bed and my phone in the other room was pinging, and the phones, I have 3 phones. The phones in my rooms were this noise was going off. It wasn't my regular alarm. And I was kind of like, what is going on? I went and got some juice. I got back into bed. I had all my phones with me and I looked down at my phone and I see that it's the red alert. And I thought, oh, red alert, Tel Aviv, Saturday, Simchat Torah, guys, like give me a break. It's my day off. And And so, as someone who's now experienced 2 wars here, I follow the rules. I go to my safe room. I wait the 3 minutes for the end of the booms, but 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I decide I'm going to sit in bed and ride out the storm. They don't hit us anyway. And then the sirens stop, and then usually get about 90 seconds or less between the end of the sirens and the beginning of the booms. And then it was boom. I thought, okay, good, done. Then it was boom, 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 boom. And it just kept going. And I thought, oh, it's not a rocket, it's a rocket strike. And that was when I realized I had to probably move to my mamad in a safe room just to do the right thing. And so that's what we did. And then that's when I actually had the opportunity, because I was not awake yet, to look at my phone, and I saw an hour's worth of alerts, news alerts. Something wasn't right. And in Israel, when something isn't right, you go on Telegram. And I went on Telegram, and it was thousands of videos from Jews in the southern envelope who had posted pictures from out their window of terrorists riding around their communities with guns, banging on their doors, shooting into their windows. And then even more videos from the terrorists banging on the doors, shooting in the windows, driving into communities. I know these communities. I know every inch of Israel. I knew exactly where these things were happening. And I woke up 20 minutes ago. I'm now under rocket fire. I'm watching videos of people being dragged from their houses, and there are terrorists, lots of them, in cars with guns driving through the streets of Israeli cities. None of it was normal. I've seen terrorist attacks. I've been near terrorist attacks. I've witnessed terrorist attacks. I've sat through wars. I lived in Israel for 5 years, and nothing about what I was seeing was anything like I had experienced, seen, knew, or historically was part of how things happen here.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew something was terribly, terribly wrong.
In the aftermath, we'd come to learn that there were at least 1,400 Israelis that lost their life that day, and hundreds of hostages taken to Gaza. Do you feel like the majority of that danger has passed, or is there an anticipation that there's another shoe yet to drop?
So my field of expertise is actually national security. That's what I did both my master's and my PhD and my undergrad in. But so this is something, that I both look at as a Jew, an Israeli, a citizen, but also as a national security intellectual and academic. And so I can tell you, I knew right away that the Northern Front was obviously going to open up, even if there wasn't a collaboration between Hamas and Hezbollah. Traditionally, when Hamas does something big like this, Hezbollah takes advantage of it. So that was obviously the first thing, like, check, okay, Hezbollah is going to start off soon. And they started exactly around the time that I figured they would. And I can tell you that on the very first day, friends of mine were called up to the Northern Front. So Israel obviously knew that was going to happen too. Let's just secure that area because it's really bad down south. But in terms of what surprises me, and what there's 2 really good answers for it. What really surprises me is, one, I assumed by now that there would be an uprising, and it's not meant to be a judgment against my Arab Israeli brothers and sisters. One of them happens to be my best friend and serves in the IDF right now. But the first thing that surprised me is that there's not been an Arab Israeli uprising within the country, and not a massive uprising, but we haven't had.
So hold this thought. We're going to continue on, but I have to take this break. We're speaking with Melissa Jane Kronfeld live from Tel Aviv. Stay here.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.